Good evening. My name is Ann Killen, and I'm the Director of Administration at the Center for Professional Studies and International Programs. For the past 6 years, it's been my honor to serve as the National Counselor for Alpha Sigma Lambda at Keuka College. On behalf of Alpha Sigma Lambda, I welcome our candidates for membership and our special honorees. I congratulate each of you on your academic and personal achievements. I also welcome all of the family members, friends, instructors, college staff, and members of administration who are here with us this evening. The Alpha Sigma Lambda National Honor Society was founded in 1946 to recognize adult students in higher education. Celebrating more than 60 years, Alpha Sigma Lambda is considered the premier honor society specifically for adult students. In 2002, the Chi Alpha Lambda chapter of Alpha Sigma Lambda was chartered at Keuka College. Membership to ASL is highly competitive. In 2010, we had more than 300 students who met the minimum grade point average required for membership. However, we only extend an invitation to apply for the Honor Society to the top 10% of these eligible students, which narrowed our selection to approximately 120 candidates. Of these eligible students, 11 candidates were selected for induction this evening. Alpha Sigma Lambda recognizes adult students who are not only outstanding scholars, but also outstanding leaders. One qualification for applicants is a commitment to improving their community and the world in which we live. Today's inductees exemplify the qualities of an Alpha Sigma Lambda member and serve as a role model for adult students everywhere. But more importantly, these honorees serve as a role model for their children, their families, cohort members, friends, and future students of Keuka College. Our 11 student inductees represent the best of the best in adult education at Keuka. Will the candidates please stand and remain standing as I call your name? The individuals to be inducted into Alpha Sigma Lambda today are Pamela Clemmens, Heather Decker, Diana Dobbins, Elizabeth Evans, Christine Fitzgerald, Shannon Gagliardi in absentia, Billie Joe Jane, Vaughn Lee, Mary Orman in absentia, Helen Peregrine in absentia, and Victoria Trumbauer. Honorary inductees this evening include Sally Daggett, John C. Locke, David L. Hall, and Richard E. Quest in absentia. And special honorees tonight include Kimberly DeRuby and Lisa Coyola. Sorry. Please join me in congratulating our honorees this evening. You may be seated. Thank you. This evening, it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. John Locke. When I got John's biography for this, I read it and I said, John, I have to read this evening. Paul McCartney called it a long and winding road, and John Locke's road has been nothing less. He started with dreams of becoming a rock star, only to find that there was more to it than knowing how to party hard. After being slapped by the cold hand of reality, John made his way to the U.S. Navy, where he learned responsibility and duty. A new wife and baby may have had something to do with that as well. After earning 2 Navy Achievement Medals, one for service in Beirut in 1983, and the other for service during Hurricane Bob in 1985, he focused on unfinished business and worked to complete the associate's degree that he had started at CCFL 4 years earlier. It didn't go unnoticed that achieving a degree leads to greater opportunity, and soon, John began working towards completion of a bachelor's degree in computer graphics, which he designed, the first of its kind at SUNY Empire State College. With his BA in hand, John was poised to capitalize on the recent commercialization of the internet. First as the creative director of a marketing communications company, and later as the co-owner of a new media design studio, he suddenly realized that he was happiest when he was teaching colleagues and customers how to leverage this innovative marketing channel. Armed with that realization, John went back to Empire State College to earn a master's degree in arts and liberal studies. Now fast forward to graduation, and he immediately explored employment opportunities in higher education. Teaching part-time at Empire State College as an adjunct instructor at Keuka College, he leveraged over 20 years of experience in marketing, communications, and management. After a year as visiting professor at Ithaca College, teaching advertising and graphic design, John returned to Keuka and accepted a position as program coordinator for the management programs. In 2008, John joined the newly formed Wortman Office of Distance Education at Keuka's Center for Professional Studies and International Programs. In this new role, he recruited staff and launched Keuka College's first foray into distance education to support the Accelerated Studies for Adults programs. Since then, under his leadership, the Wortman office has developed and launched over 40 online courses, integrated online learning activities with face-to-face programs, created and delivered online orientation for ASAP students, developed online training for new adjunct instructors, leveraged video conferencing in classrooms, and established remedial computer training classes for students and instructors in need. As an adult student, John learned that nothing is out of reach when one identifies a goal and is working hard towards achieving it. Today, he is dedicated to supporting others who travel the same long and winding road and hopes to continue smoothing a few bumps as he finds his way along. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. John Locke.
Thank you, Ann. I have actually a few students out here in the audience, and that's great. I'm glad to see you here tonight. And you'll know that I teach a class in public speaking, and I also talk a lot about public speaking in my organizational communications class. And so I'm going to start out. You that had me as an instructor, you remember I used to say, don't read to your audience, speak to your audience. Well, I'm going to break that rule tonight, because I also taught my students that if you're going to speak in public, sit down and put together an outline. Figure out exactly what you want to say, and then, write it down. Each topic, just write down each topic, and then maybe flesh it out with a bullet point for each thing, just so you stay on track. Well, I did that, and after working on it for a couple of days, I ended up with an entire essay. And I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to deliver this essay, off of note cards? It can't be done. So you know what? I'm going to read my essay to you, and I hope you'll indulge me in that. I will try to make eye contact every now and then, but you can catch me at the end of it if I don't. And those of you who are my former students, I will appreciate your grade when I'm done. Okay? Oh, and one other thing, I also told my students to never start an essay with someone else's quote. I'm going to break that rule too. Okay. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The phrase is familiar to substance abuse addicts who have reached a point when they realize they need to do something drastic to turn their lives around. This excerpt from the Serenity Prayer is a stark reminder of the reality that faces us all. There are things we can and things we cannot change. I learned pretty early in life that I was never going to be a basketball player. It's kind of a height thing. And those of you who tell me there are short basketball players, those people still tower above me. But anyway, I learned to accept that reality. And later, as Ann mentioned, I also thought that maybe I could have a career as a rock star. But when that became unlikely, I realized I might as well get my own driver's license, because I wasn't going to be able to afford a chauffeur anytime soon. We all come to realizations like that in life. Oftentimes it's a rude awakening. We realize that just tying our favorite blanket around our necks doesn't make us superheroes, and the distance from the garage roof to the ground becomes painfully obvious. Generally, we learn to accept those things we cannot change, but as a result, many of us become addicted to the status quo and settle into a routine of noble mediocrity. We lower our expectations. We head down career paths that are less than stimulating, and we make sacrifices in the names of our family with the hope that our children will pick up where we left off. There are many practical excuses to justify this approach to life, but fundamentally, I think it's due to a lack of courage and wisdom required to recognize the need for change, identify what is possible, and then determine a path. As adult students, whether consciously or unconsciously, we've all come to terms with what we can't change, but we realize there's a path toward better lives for ourselves and our families anyway. It starts with courage. The courage to admit to ourselves and to others that we have personal deficits that need to be neutralized. The courage to navigate complex bureaucracies in order to chart even more complex trajectories towards the solution. And the courage to recognize that we really can't do it all, and to ask friends and family for help. The wisdom comes as part of the process. For those of us who started down the path to higher education before our children, we became wise beyond our years with regard to the mysteries of financial aid, tuition reimbursement, and the arcane language of the FAFSA form. Soon the adult student learns to transcend space and time by practicing the art of multitasking, reading in the parking lot while waiting for soccer practice to end, squeezing in 15 minutes of research while the microwave hums in the background, and composing just the right introductory paragraph while driving to work, hopefully in your head, not writing it down. After starting the program, the adult student begins developing critical thinking skills. They manifest themselves as campaign slogans and political speeches are dissected and discussed from a new perspective over the family dinner table. Processes and procedures at work are evaluated with a more discerning sensibility, and oftentimes, pathways to increased productivity that weren't quite as apparent before become obvious. And the new adult student suddenly realizes that there are more than two sides to every story as we've been led to believe. There are an infinite number of perspectives and points of view that inform every issue that we confront on a daily basis. So even before we receive the ultimate prize for months of toil and sweat, we benefit from our labors. And so do those around us. Our parents are reminded of the same sense of pride they felt when our training wheels came off for the first time. Our friends and siblings are encouraged by our ambition, and in many cases are inspired to follow similar pathways. We may even find that elusive common ground with our children as they see us burning the midnight oil and facing many of the same academic challenges as they do. I've never met a graduate of an adult program who regretted their decision to go back to school. While not everyone automatically receives a bigger paycheck or moves into a nicer office, to a person, each and every degree recipient stands a greater chance of enacting positive change and of even finding new ways to leverage those things that can't be changed. So be proud of what you're doing as adult students. Be proud of your strength, your courage, and your wisdom. To your parents, your siblings, your friends, and your children, you are superheroes. Tying a blanket around your neck and taking flight from the garage is really just a minor feat compared to the challenges you've already surmounted and those that lay before you. Addicts learn in recovery that they will always be addicts, and we're all still addicts too, but today we're no longer addicts of the status quo. Instead, we crave the power and freedom that comes from higher education. We've been granted the serenity, the courage, and the wisdom to seek it, to master it, and leverage it for our own good and for the good of those around us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tom Shepard, and I have the distinct privilege of working for our keynote speaker, John Locke, in the Wertman Office of Distance Education. The Greek letters Alpha, Sigma, and Lambda, which form the name of our society, establish the framework of our motto, which is first in scholarship and leadership. As members of Alpha Sigma Lambda, you will be expected to uphold the foundations for which Alpha Sigma Lambda stands. The Alpha Sigma Lambda key, located on the outside of your program, is comprised of the following symbols. In the upper right quadrant of our key is an open book, which symbolizes the love of knowledge. Love of knowledge is different from knowledge itself. Knowledge alone is narrow and limited, while love of knowledge is broad, seeking everywhere for the relationships which give meaning to time, place, culture, and history. In the lower left corner of the key is a lighted Roman lamp. For centuries, this has been the symbol of wisdom. Wisdom is based on knowledge. It is characterized by the open mind and by the readiness to decide, as truth may point the way without prejudice or passion. Extending vertically through the center of the key is a burning torch, the symbol of life. It is displayed on our badge because we believe that the love of knowledge and the pursuit of wisdom are the cornerstone on which life itself should be constructed. As members of Alpha Sigma Lambda, we have before us the challenge to be mindful of the ideals toward which we strive, to gain not only knowledge, but also the love of knowledge, to prepare us not only as specialists, but also as accomplished human beings, to appreciate the relationships which our vocations bear to life as a whole, to keep open minds, to give our best thoughts to the whole of life, and to discipline our spirits to a better understanding of the world in which we live. You have all just heard the aims and ideals of our honor society and the qualifications expected of you. Will all members to be inducted into ASL please rise and repeat after me? I promise to uphold the ideals and further the aims of Alpha Sigma Lambda, believing that by so doing, I shall increase my value to my college and to my community. I welcome you all to membership in Alpha Sigma Lambda, and you may all be seated. On this ceremonial occasion, let us resolve that its significance shall not be of the day or the hour, that we will strive more earnestly than ever before to make the love of learning and the pursuit of wisdom a guide of life. We ask that you treasure this association, remembering what it signifies. In return, Alpha Sigma Lambda extends to you all the privileges and honors of membership. On behalf of the present members, I extend to you sincere congratulations.
Good evening. My name is Keith Lasoda, and I'm going to deviate a little bit from the script that Ann gave me. That's a shocked look on her face. But I want to take a minute here to congratulate you all for this honor. And it is an honor. If you did the math when Ann was up here originally indicating who was selected, you'll know it's a pretty select group. And the gold cords that I have are now an annual part of my academic regalia at graduation. And I proudly wear those cords, so you should too. Tell you who I am. I'm the acting program director for our management programs. Just before this, I was the acting program director for our Vietnam program. And I concurrently am the acting program director for our international management, Master of Science in Management. So just to let you know that you too can have an acting career at Keuka if you work hard enough. Anyway, I'm proud to be here tonight, and Ann, thanks for asking me to be part of the ceremony. The Chi Alpha Lambda chapter of Alpha Sigma Lambda presents honorary memberships based on leadership and dedication to Keuka College Center for Professional Studies and International Programs. Our 4 new honorary members are Sally Daggett, who, by the way, was a former student and advisee of mine. I saw her son outside, and he said, "I'm sorry," which I said, well, that would have been my line. I made Sally suffer through countless assignments and reworks of her action research project. I think she's forgiven me since then. John Locke, who we just heard from, David Hall, and Richard Quest. And right now, I'd like to invite the platform party to come forward here and join me. First is the ASL National Counselor, which is Ann Killen, and we've seen Ann already here. Also, the Vice President for Professional Studies and International Programs, Dr. Gary Smith. The Chief Operating Officer and Executive Vice President, Carol Ann Marquist. Carol Ann probably has the most jobs of everybody at the college here. We were just talking about that. To greet our new members. As I call your names, I'm going to read a little bit of a biography and a list of accomplishments, and you'll see why these people have been chosen to be honorary members. So as I call your names, will the honorary members please step forward to accept your Alpha Sigma Lambda induction materials. And we're going to start with Sally. Sally Daggett. Sally has been at Keuka College since 1985 and is currently serving as the Associate Director for the Center for Experiential Learning. She attended Keuka College part-time for 8 years while working full-time raising her son, Christopher. Sally graduated with her Bachelor of Science degree in 1993 when there was no adult accelerated program. In 2007, Sally graduated from Keuka again, this time with her graduate degree in management. Shortly after graduate school, she continued on to complete an extensive 6-month online certificate program in prior learning assessment sponsored by the Council of Adult and Experiential Learning through DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois. And I remember when Sally was going through that, so it's quite an accomplishment. For the last year and a half, Sally has served on an ad hoc faculty committee working towards creating a formal program for adult students to earn credit through prior learning experience, which is huge for our students, by the way. She resides in Penn Yan with her husband Jeff and their cat Spooks. When Sally is not working at Keuka or volunteering her time with a non-for-profit organization, she is with her husband and or spending time with family and friends. Sally Daggett. Thank you, Sally. Next is David L. Hall. David received his Bachelor of Social Work degree, magna cum laude, from the Rochester Institute of Technology, and his Master of Social Work degree, magna cum laude, from Syracuse University. Dave has been diligently working toward his PhD from the University of South Carolina, go Gamecocks, and anticipates completion of his dissertation in December of 2011. Dave has held clinical workshop practice positions working with persons and families following brain injury, the homeless population, and in various community organizations in the greater Rochester area. Thank you, Dave. Dave's 12 years of teaching experience have included positions at Rochester Institute of Technology, University of South Carolina, and Keuka College. Dave is now a full-time assistant professor of social work at Keuka College, previously having held the position of program director for social work in the Center for Professional Studies. Dave was also instrumental in the launching of the ASAP Bachelor of Science in Social Work degree at Keuka College and continues to be an integral part of the program through teaching, advising, and curriculum development. And am I still correct, Dave, in saying that's the only accelerated Bachelor of Social Work program in the United States and probably in the world? So thank you, David, and congratulations. John C. Locke. This is getting to be redundant. You've all had the pleasure of meeting John earlier this evening with his keynote speaker address. John received his master's and bachelor's degrees from Empire State College and his associate's degree from the Community College of the Finger Lakes. John is the Director of Institutional Design at the Wortman Office of Distance Education. And John resides in Penn Yan with his lovely wife, Debbie, who's right there, his dogs, Casey and Penny, 2 newts, N-E-W-T-S, by the way, several birds, actually it should say several hundred birds, an assortment of rabbits, which should be several thousand rabbits by now, white mice, which are hundreds of thousands of by now, and a pound full of koi fish. They're very koi. In fact, they always play hard to get. All right, fish there. John and Debbie have one daughter, Sarah, who lives in Vermont and is going to get married soon. Congratulations on a number of fronts. Okay.
Good evening. I'm Carol Lillis. I'm the director of the Academic Support Center here at Keuka and an assistant professor of English. And in that capacity, I've read several of action research projects and enjoyed them. As a matter of fact, Christine Fitzgerald's, I just finished yours. I know absolutely everything there is to know about registering alumni for events at Hobart William Smith College online. So any questions later on, ask me. As I call your name, will the new members of Alpha Sigma Lambda please step forward to receive your Alpha Sigma Lambda induction materials? Family members are invited to come forward and take pictures as each person receives his or her honor. Pamela Clemmens. Pam Clemmens lives in Big Flats, a small rural area near Corning and Elmira. Pam has 2 teenage children, Caleb and Claire, and husband Scott. Pam works for the Horsehead School District teaching remedial math to 5th and 6th graders. Pam looks forward to graduating in December with her BS in Organizational Management, and she would like to move into a career as an events planner and continue working with her many community service projects. I am very humbled to be receiving this honor and could not have made it this far without the loving support of Scott, Caleb, and Claire, and my peers in Cohort 185. I feel blessed to call my peers in Cohort 185 my friends. We have grown together in this journey, and I have made strong connections that will not be severed in December at commencement. The ASAP model of education also made this accomplishment possible. The structure of the program made it easy for me to continue in my job while maintaining my family, friends, and community involvement. Heather Decker. Heather currently lives in Arkport and attends organizational management classes with her husband Richard in Canandaigua. Heather and Richard have 4 children, Kyle, Jacob, Gar, and Olivia. Heather is grateful to her family for their encouragement and assistance during her ASAP journey. She will complete her degree in August of 2010. Her associate's degree is in chemical technology, and she has been working in the research and manufacturing industry for 10 years. Heather is interested in pursuing a graduate degree in applied statistics or management. Diana Dobbins. Diana Dobbins is employed by Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield in Rochester, New York. She has worked there for 6 years and currently holds the position of Quality Control Process Manager in the Analysis and Recovery Department. Diana is her cohort's representative and considers herself to be a lifelong learner. To that end, after completing the Organizational Management undergraduate program in the fall 2010 semester, she will enroll in Keuka College's master's program in the same discipline. In 1996, Diana was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. She is active in fundraising efforts for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society and is a peer counselor and advocate for the newly diagnosed. Diana was born and raised in Rochester. She finds continual inspiration and support for her academic and health pursuits from her sons Connor and Jameson Lind, as well as her mother, Maria Dobbins. Elizabeth Evans. Elizabeth is a registered nurse and works at Lourdes Hospital in Binghamton as a staff nurse and unit educator for the orthopedics unit. Elizabeth gives all glory to God for enabling her to persevere through setbacks, including a brain tumor, and still achieve her goal of a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from Keuka College. She plans to begin her master's degree in nursing education this fall. Elizabeth feels extremely honored to be chosen for induction into this honor society. Christine Fitzgerald. Christine is from Geneva, New York, where she resides with her husband Tim and their 3 children, Lauren, Kelly, and Jeffrey. For the past 23 years, Christine has been the owner and operator of her own business, Creative Cakes and Desserts, which specializes in wedding cakes. In addition, 3 years ago, she joined the staff at Hobart William Smith Colleges as the grants administrator. Christine will complete her graduation requirements through Keuka College on August 31st and participate in the December commencement ceremony. While much of Christine's reason to pursue her bachelor's degree was for personal fulfillment, she looks forward to exploring new opportunities that may arise as a result of her degree. As Christine states, "My experiences at Keuka have reminded me of how great it feels to learn and be challenged again. To be honored for my academic efforts is therefore icing on the cake." Billie Joe Jane. Billie Joe is from Dundee and has been married for 20 years with 2 sons. Jack is 18 and will attend Keuka College in the fall, studying to become a high school math teacher. John is 16 and will be a junior-senior in the fall at Dundee, with plans to become a doctor one day. Billie Joe has been an assistant director of development for the last 3 years. Billie Joe graduated from Keuka College with a BS in Organizational Management in May of 2010 and plans to earn a professional certification in fundraising before going on to earn her master's degree in nonprofit management. Billie Joe's goals are to continue to work in the nonprofit sector in development. She states, "I am very proud of my Keuka education and to have received this honor and would not, be here without the love and support of my husband, family, friends, and co-workers who had faith in me even when I didn't." Vaughn Lee. Vaughn is from Syracuse, New York. She was originally a refugee from Laos who migrated to the United States in 1976. She has been married to her husband Lee for 36 years. They have 3 children, Bania, Robert, and Michael. Her son Robert is a Keuka alum, class of 2008. Vaughn has been a nurse for 23 years. Her experiences include 3 years of medical surgical nursing, 15 years of emergency nursing, and 5 years of peri-anesthesia nursing. Currently, she is a post-anesthesia care unit coordinator for St. Joseph's Hospital, North Ambulatory Surgery Center in Syracuse. Due to Vaughn's background of being a refugee, she was inspired to become a nurse through many challenges she had to face along her journey to the United States. She vowed to get her bachelor's degree in nursing and volunteered to help out third world country people who are in need of health care. Since July of 2009, Vaughn has traveled back to her native country and Thailand on medical missions. She also volunteered in Haiti this past March to care for many of the earthquake victims. Vaughn recently received her Bachelor of Science degree with the Virginia Henderson Award for Academic Excellence. She plans to get her national certification in peri-anesthesia nursing in spring of 2011, to enroll in Keuka's master program in education in the fall of 2011, and to pursue more volunteer work in the community and in other third world countries. Victoria Trumbauer. Vicki is from Canandaigua. She has 3 wonderful children, Hillary, Evan, and Michael. After spending nearly 20 years at home raising her family, Vicki found it was time to complete her degree. She attended FLCC full-time to complete her associate's degree, and then enrolled in the ASAP program, completing her BS in organizational management in May of this year. Vicki has been employed at Palmer Foods in Rochester for just over a year as a web support specialist. She is very proud of her accomplishments and looks forward to using all that she has learned in the ASAP program. She thanks her children for their inspiration and support.
Good evening. I'm Gary Boyer. I'm the academic skills counselor in the Center for Professional Studies. And I want to say a few words about the folks who are getting special recognition tonight. To begin with, I bet a lot of you people have served on not-for-profit boards, have sat in committee meetings, and especially that meeting. I know you sat in the meeting where somebody said, what we need is more marketing. Right? What did they mean? They meant we need to be more famous. That's what they meant. We need to see our name in the paper. Well, there's a lot more to it than that. And the students in MSM cohort 87 at OCC just found out how much more there is to that, thanks to the efforts of their instructor, Kim DeRuby. Because she put together a real-life marketing planning project to construct strategic marketing planning for a not-for-profit in Syracuse called the Huntington Family Centers. And I stress the word real. I've taught this course a lot of times. And we always have the students do simulated marketing plans, made up products. And it's great, and they learn a lot. But it's simulated. What Kim did was real. They made real strategic marketing plans for a real client, and they really are going into effect. They're actually putting them into action. Talk about experiential learning. That's pretty great. In addition, another aspect of this that was real was when you do marketing plans for a client, one of the things you have is a marketing communications partner, and they had a real one because Cookie Kaloya runs a company in Syracuse called Smart Cookie. And she's one of the best marketing communications people I have ever known in my however many years, Cook, I don't know, too many, yeah. In any case, this all came together on May 5th, the last night of the class. They presented their marketing plans to the executive director of Huntington. He was blown away. And as I said, they're putting them into practice. So this was not a win-win. This was a win-win-win. Because the students won, Huntington won, and I think Keuka College won, and keeps on winning, thanks to Kim DeRuby and Cookie Kaloya.
One of the great pleasures of being an educator is sharing in the development and accomplishments of your students. And while I enjoy sharing that with all of my students and all of our students here at Keuka, tonight is especially meaningful because as we honor you, our ASL inductees, it reminds me of the extra effort you have taken and the seriousness with which you approach your education. And that has great meaning for us as educators. And as I look out in the audience this evening and I see several instructors here who I'm sure have traveled tonight to share and enjoy that honor that's bestowed upon you, I know they are very proud of your accomplishments, as am I in our institution here at Keuka. So I'm told that I am all that stands between you and the refreshments, so I will not engage in a long speech. But again, you should be very proud of your accomplishments this evening. We are very proud of you as members of our Keuka family, and we wish you great success as you go forward in your personal and professional careers. Shortly following this event, we have refreshments in the library, the Leitner Library Gallery, which is on the first floor. So again, thank you for traveling to join us this evening, and enjoy. Thank you.